Welcome in to CBS News 24/7. I'm Elizabeth Cook. In just a few hours, President Donald Trump will deliver an address to Congress and across the world. And this all comes as we are seeing a huge reaction on Wall Street to the tariffs Trump just levied on Canada, China, and Mexico. Stocks continue to fall today with fears of higher prices and escalating tensions prompting massive sell-offs. The S&P 500 is now down 2% for 2025, and the NASDAQ Composite Index is in correction territory. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau vowed to retaliate against Trump's tariffs. He is promising to impose tariffs of his own on the United States, saying he will not back down. Listen to Trudeau call out President Trump directly in an address earlier today.
Now, it's not in my habit to agree with the Wall Street Journal, but Donald, they point out that even though you're a very smart guy, this is a very dumb thing to do. We two friends fighting is exactly what our opponents around the world want to see.
Now, Trudeau says Canada will impose a 25% tariff on $107 billion worth of U.S. goods by March 25th. Those are likely to impact American beer, wine, bourbon, home appliances, and other goods. And just moments ago, President Trump posted a response on Truth Social. He writes, quote, "Please explain to Governor Trudeau of Canada that when he puts on a retaliatory tariff on the U.S., our reciprocal tariff will immediately increase by a like amount." All right, let's bring in CBS News MoneyWatch correspondent Kelly O'Grady. Kelly, what do you make of this back and forth we're seeing here? Are there any winners in this situation?
There don't tend to be in a trade war, just because you do have both sides and citizens of both countries really bearing a lot of that pain, the businesses as well. I have two reactions to this. So the U.S., Canada, and Mexico, they're all part of this trade agreement that was signed under Trump's first administration, the USMCA, U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement. It replaced NAFTA. And because of that, we have really built such a interconnected supply chain across a number of different industries. And I think a lot of folks who are proponents of free trade are looking at what Prime Minister Trudeau is saying, the fact that he's pushing back and saying, yes, you know, when you have a trade agreement, these are not things that should be done. That aside, though, I think what's going to be really interesting is how long Prime Minister Trudeau and Canada is able to hold out. Because at the end of the day, you asked, are there any winners here? No, but there might be folks that lose more. Canada does rely on the U.S. Economically more so than we do. We rely on them a lot, certainly, but I do think this is going to be interesting to see how long this pushback is going to be able to hold up. Is it just rhetoric, or is Canada willing to suffer a lot of pain for its businesses and consumers?
I want to talk about China for a minute here, Kelly, because Beijing retaliated with a 15% tariff on many farm exports, among other things. And China is our biggest competitor when it comes to trade, and we also rely on them heavily when it comes to manufacturing, especially in the tech sector. What's sort of the bigger picture when it comes to getting into a trade war, specifically with China?
So this I find so interesting, Liz, because there's actually a lot of bipartisan support for the tariffs that we are seeing go in place on China. Remember, there were tariffs against China under the first Trump administration. The Biden administration kept many of those and, in fact, increased some. So there has definitely been bipartisan agreement that because, as you say, China is a very big competitor in a number of different industries, we do need to protect American industries and dominance. The other part of it, though, is the farming aspect of it. And I'm glad you brought up those retaliatory tariffs, Liz. I went to Missouri a few weeks ago to speak with a corn and soybean farmer, and he told me the industry was just decimated under the first Trump administration because by putting a retaliatory tariff on those industries, it made it nearly impossible to sell to China, which is their biggest market. Overnight, so much of their revenue was wiped out. The government had to come in and give a very big aid package, billions and billions of dollars to the agriculture industry in this country. And so, the broad picture, I think a lot of people are in agreement about this tit for tat with China, but then you look at very specific industries in this country that are going to just really feel the pain. They don't really get a benefit from a trade war, if you will.
Yeah, you see the impact, especially on those smaller businesses. Kelly O'Grady, thank you so much.